meeting of the DDA for January to order, please.
Alrighty.
We need a roll call.
Yes. So, Bobby Lovins.
Present.
Brian Ford.
Present.
Charlotte Jones.
Present.
Scott McKee.
Present.
Pam Schermeyer.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Garrett.
Present.
Fred Prime is a no, and Dan Sugg is a no. You have a quorum, Mr. Vice Chair, though we do need a motion to excuse both Fred and Dan since I did hear from them.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I will make that motion to excuse Fred Prime and Dan Sugg. I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. On to the next.
Approval of the agenda. We
Yes.
need a motion.
Oh, the agenda?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve today's agenda.
We have a second?
Second.
We do. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Approval of minutes.
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That takes us to financial review.
Take it away, Pam. Brought
Do you
you.
have anything to do with the?
There's like a catatonic state. I
Look
wonder.
at the A, and it says DDA Board of Directors. Under A, after approval of minutes, it has an A.
It technically does. Oh, because
Yeah,
that's
approval
the
of
date,
minutes
December
because
That's
that's
the
the
date of the
minutes.
meeting.
So now we're on
That's what
financial.
it
We're
is.
on.
All right.
We're on 4A.
Okay, financial.
Okay, now
I
we're
just
on
got out of
four.
the meeting, so I'm kind of running. All right, there was a couple of questions asked at the last meeting about why your statement did not say closed. And I'm just gonna answer that question, so it's on the record that the books do not have to be closed until December 31st, 6 months after our fiscal year end. The audit report did not come out till November 8th. At December, when I got your things, I was still doing journal entries from the auditors. So that's why your statement did not say closed. Your books are closed now. They were all closed by December 31st. The cities, the DDAs, so I just want to let you guys know that because that was a question that was asked and most people that are not accounting people would know that, so.
Right, makes sense.
Thanks.
Yep. Sorry. And then, we're doing really good. Right now, I'm working on due to, due from, so you still see a big balance in your account, but, it's supposed to go to the general. I'm working on those right now to do the due to, due from. So I'm balancing them out and correcting them. So, and beyond that, you guys are doing great. You're gonna be getting some more money in for the DDA. That's another thing that will be coming over, is more of your tax money. So you'll see a difference in that for the next month's report.
Was that the 97, this anticipated?
Now, this is the anticipated of what's gonna go due to general fund right there.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
And then your
Is
other,
that the 296,000? That's a
Yeah.
lot. Okay.
so, but we pay all your bills out of the general fund. So you guys don't have your own checking account. So all the bills for DDA are paid out of the general fund account. And then they just, then there's just a due to, due from.
So just to also go on record, it was asked in our council meeting if the DDA, if we were to lose the DDA, what would be the amount that we would lose?
That you would have, it would have to go by the millage, and there's also, you would probably lose most of it, because it has to go back to the entities that, so if you took the whole pot of money, it would have to go back to all the entities that have put money into it. So your counties, all your county entities, your Huron Parks, I think is one, your SMART would go, all those would go back to the county, back to the, well, we don't collect from the school, but we do collect from the college. So all that money would be, have to be divided amongst, and it would go by their millage rates probably.
And is that gonna be, thank you, is that gonna be the 1.6?
It would
would
go
be-
back proportionately. For
No, I'm just saying the total amount that we would lose
Whatever,
out on.
whatever
is-
money we have in the bank account, or whatever money shows in that fund,
Okay.
would be divided amongst everybody.
So nothing would go to the general fund of the city of Lathrup Village.
But there would be, because we do have a millage out there. but
But it would be fractional.
it'd be very
Fractional,
fractional, yep.
okay.
So
All right, I'm
there's
lost from
a-
the get-go.
So it was asking council in our study session that if the DDA was disbanded for any reason, what would be the amount that we would lose? And I wanted to, get it clarified here, and you're gonna have to say it again on Monday, the actual amount and where that money goes and what the city would lose.
And then right now, it's really hard to say exactly what
Yeah.
we would lose, or what the city would, we'd lose a big portion of it.
Right.
Guaranteed, but you gotta do there would be a lot of calculations to do with it.
Okay.
Right,
But the
it's not going
tax that
back-
comes in from the city comes in from the businesses in the district, correct?
So
Yes.
there
So would
are.
those go back to those individual businesses,
No,
or
no.
would
Go to
that
the
go
general
to the
fund.
general fund?
That
Would go
goes,
to the
and
general.
it's, there is we've got our fund balance, so all the capturing authorities, right? All the money that's currently in the fund balance, that gets distributed proportionately back to those entities from which we captured. So, like our fund balance is 1.411 and, some more. That would get divided up. The city would not get that whole 1.4 back. And that would be, there would be a one-time infusion to the city from the fund balance, but the remainder of that will, like I said, it would go back to OCC. A whole bunch would go back to
The county.
because that's our next biggest capture. Also here on Clinton Metropolitan Authority we capture from, as well as from the refuse. And then that, so the taxes that we capture within the district, again, those will go back, and then the 1.86, what is that? 1.86 mils that we levy, that goes away too. Right, so there's another additional fund. So I can,
Right, to the 1.86 that you're milling, is that future TIF? So we would not only have to forego the current fund balance, we would also be
You would never
forfeiting
get it.
future money as
Yes.
well,
Yeah,
which
there'd be
one
no
would
more.
have to factor in the
And-
lifespan of the DDA and how much projected future money would that represent as well. We would not be able to access as well,
Right.
which would only suffer the businesses here which need access
right, and so
to
right,
those TIF dollars.
and another thing to just think about in terms of what happens when you disband a TIF, right? One, if the city was to come back and say, that was a big mistake and we want to change our mind. Right now, we collectively as a city and the DDA, we benefit from the fact that our base values were set in 1998. So we are capturing that increment. So if there's a property that was worth $100,000 in 1998 and now it's worth $200,000, we are getting that value, right? So if, say, in 5 years they come back and we've been disbanded and they come back and we are starting from ground zero. So that $200,000 property, okay, that's now its base value, but now say it's gone, it only goes up to 205. We're only getting that 5,000. So we really are shooting our foot. The city would be shooting itself in the foot to disband it because we're not. There's a
Yeah.
benefit to longevity.
Well, and
Correct.
the other
Makes
thing
sense.
is with the county, they're not giving the portion anymore.
Yeah.
The county has done away with that.
So-
So if you, in future years, say we want a DDA back, you're not gonna get the county portion.
Yeah, they can opt
You
out.
will only
So
probably
it's
get the
loss,
city
loss,
portion.
loss.
So all the
And
things
you're
that,
tripping over losses.
all the things that we do, the alleyways, the approaches, and all of that stuff, through these funds that come from a myriad of sources, would now entirely be borne by the
general-
taxpayers of
by
the
the
city.
by
Correct.
the city's
That would
general
shift
fund.
to the
So
residents.
all of the Main Street and
Correct.
Oakland County grant money that comes to us
Correct.
would dissipate, and we would be paying, it would be an added burden on the citizens of Lakewood. River.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it makes absolute sense to,
Absolutely.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the financials? Otherwise, if not, we just need that motion to receive and file, please.
I'll be happy to make a motion to receive and file as presented by Pam.
Do we have a second?
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Takes us to committee reports.
All right.
Pardon me.
We haven't had much activity within our committees since our last meeting, since we had, the holidays in there. We did have our EV committee at the beginning of this month, and we are going to be taking a good, strong look at making sure that we are hosting quarterly business activities, business programming. We did pretty darn good last year holding community events, and so now we definitely need to make sure we're focusing on these on the businesses. We are going to be revisiting home. Everyone's going to have homework. We are. You may recall we worked really hard on our work plan for the board as a whole, and then kind of distilling those down within each subcommittee. So we're going to be picking up those work plans next month and making sure we're on track with what we said we wanted to do, what we've done, and what we're gonna do. So that's the goal for 2023 for the committees. We are actually, one thing I did want to bring up is participation on the committees, though, because that's kind of part of this regrouping, if you will. We really need to get board members on these committees, and we need to also expand the reach of who's on these committees. So right now I've got on the promotions committee, we've got Bobby and Fred and Dan, and we can't have any more than 3 board members.
You mean
on.
the EV?
No, that's on. Oh, that is on. I'm sorry. Yes, that was.
That's
sorry, EV. Right now we have Bobby. It's Bobby, Fred, and Dan.
And Brian.
No, we don't have Dan. Dan's on promotion.
Dan's on promotion.
That's what's missing.
Okay. I'm like.
I'll say, I know I go to that.
Sorry. All right, so we've got my things. I'm like dyslexic this week. Sorry. And then Dan is over here on promotions. So sorry. On EV, I think we're good for EV. We've got Bobby, Fred, and Brian on EV. So we do need to work on maybe getting another business or 2 involved.
Okay.
On EV. Promotions. All right. Let's see. Fred is not on promotions, I don't believe. But we do have. We've got Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you're not on promotions. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Anybody else on promotions? Anybody want to be on promotions?
Technically, Mark from the newspaper is a quasi-promotional
He is,
member.
but I'm thinking specifically right now of
The board.
Board. Anybody else? I personally think Charlotte would be an excellent addition since we've been partnering on several events. And I
Yes.
think even in past experience, it's fantastic to have your partners on those committees in which you're working on, right?
Yeah,
and
makes
working
sense.
on events. So.
I second it.
Okay.
I third it.
Yes!
Charlotte. Yeah. Charlotte.
Yes,
Charlotte.
Cool. I feel like we just all embraced
No, that's a
my
really good
9-year-old
fit.
son,
Yeah, that's a
what he
super
likes to
duper
do.
good fit.
We do have room for one more board member. Anybody else interested? And we are going to have, I'll get to that. We are going to have a couple new members coming up. But is there anyone else on the board that wants to be on the promotions committee?
Could you explain what promotions is, maybe a little bit?
Promotions is, the promotions committee handles the bulk of the events, right? Specifically obviously helping to market is market, share, and plan the events. And these are district-wide events. And they would support, like EV committee kind of comes up with how to, you can look at EV as the committee that helps with organizational stuff and making sure we are advocating for the district, right? And so that includes the business, like the business workshops that we do. That's more of the EV committee to plan and coordinate
Retention,
those.
under retention, right.
And then the promotions committee will help expand that reach and make sure we're getting the word out there in that way. And then promotions also takes a strong role in the community events that we host and help.
And what are the other subcommittees?
The other subcommittee is beautification task force, and right now that is committee of uno. This shining, wonderful star of planting amazingness. So beautification is we are the landscaping, make our district looking awesome. So we've done the flowers, the flower pots, we've done the banners. One of the things that was on our capital improvements plan last year that we didn't get to was garbage cans and recycling that I know have been requested. So that'll be one of our tasks, kind of shop around and see what kind of things we're going to do. And cleanups. Art is probably going to be another one. We had talked about that initially, is like, how do we get some art into the district? So that's in a nutshell what those. And then we do have like the Juneteenth subcommittee. That's kind of a subcommittee of promotions. I didn't look to see specifically who's on that one. That's more of a mix. And I think we're going to break that one out separately from promotions anyways. So I want to take a better look at that, and I think we should probably have one for winter market as well as like a separate breakout subcommittee. But I also want to look at that one a little bit more before I start roping you all into that one too.
Question, if I could, are any of the committee posts available through Zooming?
Yes, committees can meet through Zoom, right? So state law says that we can't, this public body, we cannot meet via Zoom because that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. There is no such prohibition on subcommittees of the organization. So, we've done that through, EV does their meetings remotely for the most part. Promotions is sometimes in person, sometimes remotely, and then beautification we meet in person as needed, right? But that should probably change when it's more than just Pam.
Which could be a draw for attendance.
Right.
If Zoom is available, it does make attendance and participation easier.
Indeed. So,
Is this something that you would like us to think about and get back to you independently? Should we be thinking about this right now? What do you see for that?
I mean, if you have a burning desire, tell me now. If you want to, I can add it to your homework if you would like to mull it over.
Okay.
So we're going to have new members soon? Is what
Yes,
you said?
we are going to have a couple new members soon.
Is
One of
there-
whom will be the city administrator, so we can rope her into any one of these.
as early as when?
Her appointment will be on Monday's city council meeting.
And she will join the beautification.
The beautification. All right, we're signing her up. Sue is on beautifications, and I see a promotion.
Does Sue know
So
this?
I think maybe we should.
Does Sue know this?
Sue
She
knows
will.
it now.
She knows in about 5 minutes.
She'll know in approximately 24 minutes.
I suggest, She does such a great job decorating.
All right, so we'll pencil her into promotions and beautification. I think that would be lovely. All right. All right, so if there's anyone else that has a burning desire to serve with Sue and Pam, let me know next week, I guess, would be a good time, and then we'll
Okay.
reconvene and figure that out.
And when
So,
does the beautification meet?
typically that's been a seasonal meetings. We started, I think, in April or May,
And the promotions is
April.
every month.
every month.
Y'all going to beautification.
All right.
Well, does
Excellent.
beautification have its own work plan?
It will, yes. Beautifications is really the only one I think that wasn't included on the overall work plan because we had not set that up at the time that we did that. seminar with Matt.
Excel, or whatever that was, Excel spreadsheet. Okay.
So, all right, cool, awesome, thanks. We got that done, and I guess look for more information in the next upcoming meetings for activities on that one. Shall we move straight into other business?
That was it for committee
That
reports?
was it for committee reports.
Then let's tackle other business.
All right, other business. So this is really, I don't want to say we're quite slow, but we've had, it hasn't been super busy, like I said, in the last month. We did have we did partner with Oak Park and the city of Southfield, and we're supported by Main Street Oakland County on a small business breakfast and financing forum that was this past Wednesday. It was fantastic. I think we probably had about 50 to 75 businesses attend, from all of our communities. It was really good. It was at Oak Park's public library, and so we're going to be having a debrief meeting in the next couple of weeks. And I think Oak Park and both Southfield and Oak Park are very interested in continuing to host quarterly events like this, and we can, do round robins. So that was really good. One thing that I had talked that we are going to have coming up is a diversity, equity, inclusion roundtable sometime in February. We've got a couple dates blocked off, and we're working to identify speakers, right? Did you?
I have them written down.
You have them written down? Okay. Did you want to say anything about that? Or no?
I thought I had no choice. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, excellent.
So we don't have anything on the books for Black History Month. And so I suggested that we figure out something that we pretty much should be doing something every month for, nationally recognized months, holidays, things like that. And so for the, we also hosted this year, so let me back up. Last week, we hosted the South Oakland Mayors Association dinner. And normally when we have those dinners, it's about another governmental entity coming in saying either, what they do or the actual city making comments towards what they're doing. And so this year, or this time that we host, we had it was a DEI discussion. And the results of it was really quite, I was surprised. A lot of the mayors that was there asked to continue this conversation in their own cities and have this type of conversation. And then I thought that it might be a good idea to kind of do something around that, just to, since we have such a diverse community, and when it comes to diversity, most people look at it just by race, and that's not just it. And so this, I wish we recorded it because it was really, really good. But I can send you the article that the person that was the keynote speaker, the article that he did, because it's a really good, it was good.
Yes, please. That would be great.
Who was
Send it
that?
out.
Mark Lee.
Mark Lee.
So he has a radio show twice on 910, and he's a writer for the Detroit Free Press, and he is a professor at Eastern Michigan.
Wonderful.
But I'll send it to Susie, and then you can send it out to everyone. You
Yes,
wanna do
please.
that? Okay.
Yes, please. So we were going to be planning that. That'll be something the promotions committee will be working on.
Oh, so I should just hand that over.
Right. So that's coming up real quick. I think we've blocked off the 22nd and 23rd. And just trying to see if that'll work with everybody once we get that going. Otherwise, we are we're moving along in terms of projects and progress in the district. We've got a few. BP is getting super close. They got their approvals from their final approvals from the Planning Commission this week. They're going to CBA in February. Discount tires just about. I mean, we're just waiting for one little thing for DTE for them. So we're still moving forward. Logos is kicking butt on their improvements, and we're hoping to have a building dedication coming up in the next few months. So stay tuned. And then, while it's not on here, we do have other exciting news. You may notice we have a new face down at the end. I would like to introduce you all to Bill Diamond. He is our brand new, super awesome code enforcement officer.
Oh.
So
Welcome,
Thank you.
he comes to us from Hamtramck, where I can attest that he was pretty awesome there too. And he's just jumped right in. So you will see Bill around.
Hopefully we won't see him.
Hopefully you'll see him and he'll just do a slow roll right past your properties.
He'll
But
just
if
say
not-
hi, bring in your lunch.
But if not, take him seriously. He's
He can drop the hammer,
right. So you will see Bill around. We are, he started on January 2nd, right? So I mean he's third, so he's still super duper new. So I expect you'll start seeing him around even more.
I was really impressed because I see you every day. I stalk the street, and so I see the truck going by pretty much.
Thank you. I try. I mean,
Right?
I'm pumping in.
Anything you would like to say?
I'm happy to be here. It's been nice so far. I do have some questions that I'll send an email to Susie about things that I've noticed that would help me out. I know there was flyers that were made for the last code enforcement officer that I would like to have made through the DDA so I can hand them to businesses and go to each business and say, hey, this is me, this is what we expect. I think that would be a great thing instead of just going out and hammering them with tickets and this is something that we're going to be looking forward. We want to make sure that we keep it clean. I've already done the assessment of all the lights through the city, especially down Southfield. I have a DTE contact already, and she actually lives at 11 in Evergreen. So she's the Oakland County Lathrup Village lighting for DTE. And then I also I did some. How I do is when I get complaints, obviously they steamroll into a lot of things, and instead of just a small complaint, a lot of them we've got was lighting, some potholes and stuff that are Southfield and Oakland County, and I do have a contact for them too. So I've worked a lot already for the things that I've done. So there are some things that I like I said, I'm going to send to Susie, and then if she needs to forward to you, and to hopefully help me help the community out, make it a lot easier for all of us. So. So like I said, I started right into it. So luckily my last two jobs kind of helped me with this. I was the fire marshal in Hamtramck. I retired, and then I took over the DPW department there for a year. That's where I left to come here. So a lot of this stuff, I have a lot of connections through all that stuff. I've already met with Southfield Fire Department with their inspectors because I know we have issues with them coming in and being able to write tickets. Their inspectors aren't allowed to write tickets, only their fire marshal is. So I let them know, whatever you have, if you do inspections, re-inspections, let me know, because I can write tickets. I have, with Scott. And so making strides really quick out of the gate. So I'm hoping that continues. So.
Could we maybe do like a public service announcement on the local television channel, how beneficial this service is to the city?
Oh, that's a
and,
great idea.
Welcome him and maybe calm the perception of code enforcement in the city
Yeah,
after
that's-
our
yeah.
last code
Get ahead of
enforcement
it.
officer.
I
Great
have
idea.
actually received quite a few emails and calls thanking already, so it has been seen, and, you know, it's stopping, like I saw the mayor out, and, you know, a lot of walkers, we have a lot of walkers, they flag me down and, you know, said hello and thank you, so I think it's been seen a little bit, so.
Oh, it's an asset to the city. The last perception wasn't that, though, and I think if we could bill it that way, it would be really great. I think your successes would be exponentially more.
We could have the code enforcement show. A weekly podcast. Bridge too far.
I mean, it's
I mean,
exciting.
you don't want to put a camera in front of me.
We can follow you around.
Dan Life, our own
Reality
There you
TV.
go.
Reality TV.
I was
that's
on Under the Radar, if you ever saw that show before.
Yeah, yeah, Under the Radar
Yeah,
with
I
Tim.
was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
they came into Amtrak.
When, what's his name was? Oh, remember the? I'll digress. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a
This
fun
is
guy.
What happens when?
Rabbit hole. I saw
Right.
it.
Sorry. And so, and one of the things that the previous code enforcement officer was doing for us was that report. We're gonna let Bill breathe for a minute, and get it all together, and we'll have that report coming back before the DDA once we get them all squared away with that. So, anyone have any?
I want to be clear, I'm not taking a shot at our old code enforcement officer. I'm saying that the community perception of him was different than perhaps what it could have been. So.
No worries. I think we're all picking up what you're putting down on that one.
Okay.
And I think it's a good idea. So, anyone have any other questions for Bill or on the department report?
Just again, welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
So where does that?
Well, we have no old business, so we can jump straight into new business.
Let's go to new business then.
All right. First up, we have our January budget amendment. Really easy this time around. It's just for the planning and consulting services. As I state in the memo, our cost share agreement with the city stipulates that we as the DDA are responsible for $15,300 for the planning and consulting services. We have met that threshold. So this adjustment, we're about $200 over. So this adjustment is just to align it with what we've already spent so far, and then from this point forward, we will all those fees will be coming out of the city's general fund. When I was looking through the budget overall, we are getting closer to the employee taxes and benefits that topping out in that line item, but I thought it prudent to wait to make that adjustment until the end of the year, because I really don't know how much to increase it, right? So otherwise we are doing really good on our spending. So this is the only amendment that I have for you to consider.
So does anyone care to make a motion to adopt the proposed January amendments to the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 DDA budget?
I'll do that.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Awesome. Cool. Alright, next up we have 2023 National Main Street Conference. So this is a conference that I have been attending for the last few years while I've been with the DDA. It changes location every single year. It's been in Seattle. It was in Richmond last year. This year it will be in Boston, and we are, early birds coming up, and we really need to make our arrangements. I think it would be extremely beneficial for Britt to join me this year, and so we've put together an estimate of what it would cost for registration flights and hotel, as well as with the per diem, and so that's what you see on this memo is we estimate around just over $4,000 for the two of us to attend. We do get one free registration through our participation in Main Street, Oakland County. So we just, like I said, we want to get this,
What
start
are-
making our arrangements now. So,
So this per diem, that's for the both of you all, that price is for the both?
yes, that's for both of us, and that is what is outlined in the personnel policy of the city. So.
What are some of the things that they discussed?
Oh gosh, there's a big focus. Ironically enough, the focus this year is going to be on diversity, equity, inclusion, and those kinds of initiatives, right? Housing has been a big theme for the last couple of years. So now DEI is really where they're pushing towards. I don't remember everything that's on this year's agenda, but there is going to be more corridor related activities. That's something that I know not that I'm, my comments on the conference are what changes everything, but I know that's been one of the comments I've had is, let's have some more emphasis on these corridors and not just their traditional downtowns. So, pull up that agenda then for us.
Is there any other discussion? So we need a motion to authorize the DDA director to proceed with registering and making travel arrangements for the 2023 National Main Street Conference in Boston, Massachusetts.
Brian, I'd be happy to make a motion
Is there a second?
based on everything that you just said.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
And
that.
plus the energy too.
the energy. There's
Setting the agenda aside, the energy.
I personally find these conferences to be very inspiring. Like they get me re-energized. It's great to be able to connect from all over the country and hear some of these success stories and challenges, and just they really are quite beneficial. And I just wanted to pull this up. Where is this agenda? They are, where's my agenda? I can send out the agenda to you all later if you'd like. Clicking through like 8,000 different tabs. So I can send, if you'd like, I can send this out. I'll send it out after the meeting, so you can see the full conference agenda.
Thanks.
Yep.
That takes us to the annual report.
Yes. So this was, I like actually putting this annual report together, because by the time I get to January, I'm like, what the heck did we do? Did we do anything? Did we succeed? And the answer is yes, we did. We succeeded. We did good work last year, so all around. We have, and that is, personally considering the type of year it was last year and the changeover and the extra duties, I think I'm really happy with progress, the progress that we made. We underestimated what our revenues were going to be, and we smashed it, right? I mean, we had almost $75,000 increase in from what we had estimated, or from what we had projected to what we actually brought in last year in terms of revenue. So that's fantastic. This allowed us to do some pretty major improvements to the alleys, to the alley approaches. We paid for the sidewalks. And it's just a little graphic in there, but I was thrilled to see that we had over 2,000 attendees at our events. And these are events that only happened after Brittany came on. All right? Like, I didn't have anything done between January and May. And Britt came in and she helped really make these things take off. Kept the events going that we'd already established, and so keeping that consistency and then growing these events is awesome. So good job, Brittany.
Way to go, Brittany.
Thank you very much.
And so 2,000 attendees for 20 events and 70 volunteer hours, 126 volunteers. I'm sure some of those are repeats, and that's wonderful, right? We want those repeats. So hopefully this year we're just gonna keep those numbers going up and up and up. So though we also, you've seen it, we planted a ton. We had our informational meetings. We had probably the best turnout we've had in a while at the most recent one. Like I said, we made our infrastructure improvements. We grew to probably, I was trying to go through all the numbers. I'm sure we had really more than 20,000 linear feet of sidewalk that we've redone just in the DDA district. Our alleyways, we did a lot more this past year than we even did the year before, and that will continue again into this year. We have lots of, we kept some of the same events with the cleanups, Juneteenth, the winter market. We did trunk or treat again, but that was a little different than we did last year. Last year was Fall Fest, and it wasn't quite the same scale. I think that was probably one of our best performing events that we had. And then we added the Adopt a Senior Boys to Men program, right? And that was originally thought, when we started that, it was going to be, just working within the DDA. And we saw the need with the police department and their Adopt a Senior program. And so we shifted the Boys to Men program focused to those seniors, and that was a resounding success. The seniors that participated were thrilled. We have plenty more that are interested. And we're already in conversations to start expanding that program and really making it bigger and better, right? So I think that was a great success in terms of new programming and carrying it forward. So and then we just have we did pretty good in terms of our meetings. Only canceled a few and made those up with special meetings. So overall, I think we did darn good work last year. So congratulations.
Question for you.
Yes.
A lot with events.
Yes.
Are we allowed as a DDA to also include the BP gas station and its storefront and stuff like that under economic redevelopment?
Yeah.
That's been, a positive relationship, and we've seen new growth. And I think Cernow's facelift was the year before.
Yes.
But that's a nice thing to see some new construction going on in the district as well.
It is nice, and I will make a note to actually add the planning, and I'm working on the planning, like the planning and development activities. The Planning Commission also does an annual report as well, and theirs is all focused.
Yeah,
on
theirs is going to definitely reach
on
into
the site
that.
plans,
Right,
and
but
like,
under
so
EV,
BP,
we're happy to see economic redevelopment and facelifts and, all of that good stuff too, so.
yeah.
I think that one thing that we might do a little better is, we approve it, we see the improvements, right? When we say, I go say, the DDA did that.
Yeah.
Right, I know that, but a lot of people don't.
Right.
So what can we do to bring that to people's attention, that this was a DDA initiative, that this particular alleyway that would look like a bombed out runway is now been repaved, that was a DDA, and things like that. If there's something
Yeah,
we
that's
could
a
do on
challenge.
public access or something to make people aware.
Yeah.
Because I think that would make some of those questions go away, that if you disbanded the DDA,
Right, you wouldn't get these improvements.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Let's add that to something we discuss at our EV
At
committee
EV, okay.
and
Mhm.
figure out how, because that's, I mean, that's part of the promotional.
I was just
right,
gonna say
like the health
promotion
of the
too.
district, and
Mhm.
I think that'd be a great thing for us to discuss at the EV committee, and how we can make sure that we're promoting ourselves, really. I mean,
That's it,
we're
promoting ourselves.
Promoting
Yes.
ourselves and making sure that people are aware of
Mhm.
the wonderful things that we do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got that snazzy new logo that we can.
Oh,
Right.
was that this year or was
Display
that the
every
year
opportunity.
before, technically?
That was the year before.
This year
So we can't
before.
claim that one.
We
darn.
can't, trust me, I thought about it. I was like, ooh!
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
no. So, but we can,
I mean, bottom line, do people care whether it's DDA or the city? Maybe not, but if we, still, I think it's worth promoting with that logo, you know. when-
I think most people just assume that most things are the city.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't think they know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a thorn in our side.
Yeah.
Because we have access to resources for business growth, business retention, for development. Knock on our door. We have so many resources. Small Business Association, all of your resources, you know, John and Brian. It's indispensable to our business community. But if they don't know who we are, they don't know to ask us. Facade upgrades, sign upgrades,
Yeah, you know,
ideas I have for the
I was thinking
beautification committee
totally
that we can,
residents.
repaint the whole city, right?
But you're right, yeah, it's
Right.
important that the businesses know the difference.
Right,
Um,
right. So it's sounding like that podcast idea is coming up again. Kelly's weekly podcast now. It was Brian's, now it's Kelly's.
It looked like the Tonight Show. You could have guests
Right.
come and you just sit behind the desk.
done.
Just add it to the to-do list.
Have a band.
What's the problem? Right.
Right.
yeah.
Let my hairs for those.
Mm.
Anyone have any other questions or comments on the
Is-
annual report?
Any further discussion on the annual report?
No, but round of applause to our director and our assistant director. You made it all possible. Yes.
Yes, yes.
That brings us to public comment. Is there any public comment?
Barb?
Okay, there's no public comment. That brings us to adjourning the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
Oh, wait, before we go, I do need to announce. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, she's running. She's
I know.
running out of that chair.
I know I kind of like mentioned it in passing, but I just want to say thank you to the chief for serving on the board for the last year-ish.
About a year, yes.
About a year.
Oh,
This is Chief
Oh.
McKee's last meeting with us. He did
Oh,
tenders.
did you get the gift we sent you?
I did.
Darn, that post office.
So,
That plaque?
right.
Darn.
He did get a very nice email from me, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, I did. It was a great.
Yeah, that
email.
got delivered.
Right.
Yeah.
But so this is his last meeting. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
serving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to be done.
Thanks for all your efforts.
It's been a great year. It's been interesting sitting with you folks and learning about the DDA. So
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
go spread the word.
And have no fear. We're gonna keep dragging him back into things.
I
So
was gonna say, so he won't be joining me on promotions then, I could cross his name off.
you can cross his
Oh,
name
darn.
off, but you know we
Good
might.
try. I like it.
That was really, yes, slide
You know,
that in.
but he now that he's not a board member, we could rope him into that one for just as an
For any of them, actually.
an interested party
Okay.
for the DDA districts. So
Or for promotions, every time you issue a ticket,
Ooh.
you can just go, by the way, here's some collateral material for you.
About 3,200 times a year.
so
Chief,
But-
I invite you to make your final motion to adjourn the meeting in your last meeting.
I will make the motion to adjourn today's meeting. Is there a
right.
second?
We all second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
all right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.